Hello students. I'm very happy to be making my first video of the course. My name is Zania Roif. I will be teaching you grammar level 3 as it is clear on the board. Thank you for joining our website, and hopefully it will be a very helpful one to you. So this is my first video here. It will not be a video in which I'll be teaching you any grammar, but rather I'll be teaching or giving an introductory video about the overall goal of the course and the plans I've got for the course. So here you go. Let's enjoy the time together, hopefully. Yes, this is about the subjects I'll be teaching in Grammar 3. There might be a couple of changes at the end, but it's roughly what I'll be describing here. And I'll be having a couple of forewords, which just means hints or tips I'll be giving to you about the course, nothing else. So, a couple of questions I hear a lot around from students. I learned English the same way as I'm giving you lessons right now, from lectures, from experts, people who went through the learning process, just like you are going now. One very quick note though, as you see, I'm only speaking English, which means this is Grammar 3. You should be able to understand me pretty well. You don't need to understand every word. I'll be slower in the other videos, hopefully, but overall you need to understand me. Otherwise you have to revise your Grammar 1 and Grammar 2 probably. But I'll be going easy on you, and I know this is helpful, so please don't give up yet. I'm telling you, this is going to be helpful. This is the way you learn. So the first question I hear a lot around is grammar important? I can speak and I can make you understand what I'm trying to say. So why should I speak grammatically? Well, this is a good question. I'm sure you can make people understand. For example, you see a car on the street, it's crashing, and it's having an accident. You're like, hey, car accident, dangerous. Yes, I can understand these things. I can make a content out of it. But the question is, am I really able to make everyone understand me? Well, the answer is probably no. Because you need to speak in the standard way of a language to be able to first say that you speak that language. Second, to not be ashamed of your speaking abilities. And in that way, it's not only speaking. Sometimes you have to write. Sometimes you have to listen to others who are probably speaking grammatically. So you want people to understand you. You want no problems there. You want to be as clear as possible. And that's only through a grammatical and perfect way of speaking the grammar. Now, a couple of mistakes here and there are fine, but you should roughly follow the criteria the language holds. The second thing, well, after you agree to the first one probably, is how do I master grammar? Well, that's a perfect, that's a very good question. How do you master grammar? First of all, it takes time. Grammar is not something that you will learn overnight. Otherwise, you would all be perfect, because we went through the sunrise books of grade 5th and grade 11th and grade 12th. And it was all grammar, right? Past simple, present simple, and all of that. You would have been perfect if that was enough, but that's never enough, unfortunately. Practice. Practice is the answer to this question. Reading a lot, reading books, observing grammatical notes, seeing YouTube videos, cartoons, animations, even movies. Trying to learn about the grammar more. Observing again, and trying to digest the new things you learn and putting them into practice when you speak. So in learning a language, English has 4 parts. You have speaking, you have listening, then you have reading and writing. When you learn anything, you have to apply it to all of them. So for example, you learn past simple, okay? Very simple thing. You have to apply that to your grammar. Use it in your grammar, right? Use it in your grammar. Then you learn that. Try to use that new knowledge in your speaking. What's past simple? How do I use it? Use it. Try to use it in your writing. Try to understand it when you listen to people. So you apply that to your listening, right? So in all of those criteria, right, then you learn the thing perfectly, and you will be able to practice it, and that's how you learn any language, roughly, right? So I hope that helps you, practice and observing. The third question is, why do I keep making mistakes, right? Oh, come on, I learned this yesterday. This is past simple. Why do I keep making these mistakes? It is very annoying sometimes. I agree with you. You've been speaking a language or practicing a language for a long time, and you're like, hey, why did I say she haven't? What kind of mistake is that? I should know that, right? Yes, you should, but it's okay. English is your second language, or probably your third language. You don't have to be perfect. It's completely fine and understandable to make mistakes, and everyone knows that. I've been speaking in English for 3-4 years, and I still make silly, stupid mistakes, and I don't get frustrated because I know it is not my first language. I even make mistakes in my first language, my mother language, my mother tongue. I make mistakes in Kurdish, so it's fine, it's all right. You don't have to freak out. You have to improve. You have to know the roots of the mistake. Maybe it's not that you practice a lot, or maybe it has to do with the fact that you've been away from the language for some time, or it is just, completely natural. So you make mistakes because you are not speaking in your mother tongue. It's not Kurdish that you speak. It's not Arabic that's your mother tongue. So it should be alright. So how do I know I am improving? That's a good question again. I hear it a lot around. How do I know I am improving? Well, the answer is very simple. You improve when you make mistakes. So if you are making mistakes, you are improving. Please make mistakes. I know it's a silly question or silly thing to ask, but please make mistakes. Mistakes are welcome in any language, especially English, as it is a universal language. So making mistakes tells you that you are actually learning, and the fact that you know you are making mistakes is a really, really good thing. So when you make mistakes and you know you are making mistakes, it means you have solved half of the problem. The other half is just to digest the new things you learn and add it to your overall knowledge. Is there a best way to learn about grammar? Well, there are many ways, and practice is involved in all of them, but there is no specific way you learn about grammar. And you shouldn't really be focusing on one thing. Don't focus on your listening for a long time, then on your writing. No, do all of them simultaneously, which just means at the same time. Try to learn grammar and speak it, use it every day, and write it every day, and listen to it every day, right? So that way you will be able to add the grammatical things, or even in writing, or even in listening, things you learn, you add it to your overall language knowledge. And that is a very powerful thing in learning a language. The next question is it not just memorization? Grammar is just memorization. Subject, which is she, he, and it, and they, and the others, plus is, and are, and plus verb ing, plus complement, plus whatever. No, that's not how you learn it. If it was that easy, again, everyone would speak it, because you studied that in school, right? You studied past simple, present simple. So why don't you speak the language? Well, because obviously that's not enough, right? That's not enough. It's not memorization. It's practice. It's a skill, right? It is a skill. There's a lot of memorization into it, but it's never enough. It is actually practice. Grammar is practice and practice and practice, right? So I'll be focusing on these things a lot in my videos because I know from the bottom of my heart that it is the right thing, right? So practice is very important, and I hope you'll be keeping up with the amount of practice you'll have to put into this course at the end of the day. So again, once I'm mastering grammar, do I have to keep using it? Well, I know grammar, why should I use it? Let's just talk informally. Well, in some cases that is true. If you master in grammar, you will have to use it first, but not all the time. So I'm going to be honest with you. People would tell you, hey, use grammar all the time. And yes, grammar is important, but the grammatical way of speaking, just like in any other language, just like in Kurdish, you don't have to use it all the time. We can speak informally. So, but when you are writing, in your writing skills, and when you are listening to others, you should expect perfect way of speaking, a perfect grammar. But when you speak yourself, you don't really need to be perfect all the time. So when I speak with my friends, usually in English, of course, we don't really speak grammatically. Even in Kurdish, when I speak Kurdish, I don't speak grammatically because there is a specific way of speaking, a slang way of speaking, a short language, and it is all right, but you need to have the skill. That's for sure. The last question, but not least, what tools help most in teaching me about grammar? Again, a very good question. Overall, there is no specific tool that will help you most in learning grammar, but one thing you have to know is that you need to be aware of your knowledge, of your knowledge, the progress of your knowledge with grammar, and that awareness can come from roughly anything. You can learn grammar from songs. I know that's ironic, but it's possible. You can learn from YouTube videos. You can learn from books. Books are the best, but it should be from something you like. So it should come from something that you love. That way you'll be focusing on the thing you are watching or doing, plus the grammar. So for example, when I was learning about English, I loved football and I loved tennis. So I would watch those games in English commentators, and I would be learning about the grammar as well because it was practice for me. Or I loved reading, so I read a lot about it. I didn't like songs. I didn't like it in English. I never do. But some people do, and they learn from it. It's all right, but it should come from something that you love. That's the most important part. All right. So enough with this. Let's go to our next slide. So what are the lessons I will be covering? So again, there's a chance I might change this a little bit, but it is roughly the same thing. I will be going through all of them for sure, but I might add some parts and cut some parts in some of them. So the first lesson would be about past perfect, the next video you will be watching. Then we'll be having present perfect. I'm sure these words are familiar to you. Lesson 3 is future perfect, so all the perfect tenses. Again, I have to remind you, this is grammar 3. You should know about past simple, present simple, past continuous, present continuous, future continuous, future simple, all of these things, to be able to understand me now. Because here, these topics are all about the meaning. So it's not only a couple of rules you memorize, no, it's about the meaning. In this case, we have events, first event, second event, which one came first, which one came second. So you need to have enough knowledge to be able to follow with me. Otherwise, you have to go back to level 1 and level 2 and learn more, then come back to me. So we'll be going through participles and then passive voice and some other terms we'll be using, like still, yet, already, for, since, like, the article, and the rest. So I'll explain those when we come to them. The next topic is the imperative, of course, the imperatives. and I will explain them when we come to them, okay? So Grammar 3 covers Lesson 8, adjectives, the use of participles and gerunds. Using interest is an adjective, it is interested and interesting. What's the difference, right? There's a difference, of course. Then prepositions with gerund, good at doing something, for, and all of those. In lesson 10, we'll be using be used to, a very confusing topic to many students. I hope we will be able to clear the confusion when we get there. Lesson 11, relative clauses, right? We'll be going through who, which, that, how we use them, where do we use commas, and how we use them, and what is the effect of them. Then we'll be going through tag questions. This is very familiar from high school, isn't it? Tag questions. The 13th is the writing the compound and complex sentences. It's pretty easy though, but you need to learn it. And the last one is subordinating conjunctions, right? This is the topics we have, 14 of them, and I hope I will all be enjoying it with them, with you, right? So thanks for choosing Court Fairborn. I'm very happy to see you guys here. I'm very happy to see eager and fond students trying to learn a language. Again, if you do not understand me, it's okay, okay? It is okay, you will. So don't worry about it. I will be speaking a little bit slower in my next videos, and I hope you will understand me. So this is my email. Please let me know if you had any confusions with what I did here. So ZR14636 auis.edu for education .krd. This is my personal email. If you have any suggestions, you can email me in Kurdish, in Arabic probably. I'll try to understand it, and in English, of course, I'll be welcoming it. My email. So please email me if you have any confusions. Okay? Please let me know. I'll be very happy to get feedback from you. Thank you. See you in the next video.